Logan Warren. I will give my oral presentation on CJ and poverty, homelessness on minors, and I will be diving into this topic. I have studied five sources, and I have read through them. I have gave brief descriptions on them, so I will be getting going over those for y'all today. First off, I'll be starting with the problem slide. I'll be going over homeless on youth in the United States because the homeless on youth in the United States is growing rapidly every single day as we speak. Because if you live in places like Atlanta, Georgia, New York, Los Angeles, California, expensive places like that, it tends to become really tough for kids to manage homes or anything, even their parents. So they ended up become homeless, and that's resulting to them being on the streets. And to me, that's a big problem in the United States because minimum wage is going up, but the taxes has also risen as well. So it's like sometimes you're not even working for the wage that you deserve. You're making probably $9.25 an hour while you should be making 16 an hour. So it's like the wages are making a big problem. So the homeless youth is just growing every single day. And another problem is not taking the matter serious. I feel like a lot of people don't take it serious because it's not happening to them or it's not happening to anybody they know. But we need to take it as if we all know these kids who are on the streets so we can actually make a difference in this world. And another thing is to arresting them. Like you have police officers arresting people every single day, homeless people every single day for no reason, for sleeping in a bench or going get some food out of a place because someone's reported them being nasty or they're just sitting there causing problems. No, they're just hungry. They just need a place to stay. And a lot of people don't think about that, so they're so quick to call the police or quick to arrest them and get rid of them. And another problem is ignoring them. It's so many times a day I can't count that people walk past homeless people or just kids in general without any care or thought because it's not them. And I try my best. If I have any money on me, I'll give a homeless kid or a homeless man some food, or I'll go give him some money, anything, just for it to effect, because you never know, that could be you someday and everything. So I just try to keep that uplift energy. Now, getting into my first slide, I'll be going over the understanding wait times in rapid rehousing. And rapid rehousing is short-term housing compared to long-term housing. But this is focusing more on short-term housing because it's a cheaper option and it doesn't involve that many people tax dollars. So that's pretty good. And it's quicker. You could easily build these homes and these kids could get in these homes and actually have a place to live at. Instead of long-term rehousing is a place where it's kind of hard for them to get a place to stay at and everything because it takes longer, it costs way more, and you really can't find any places to keep them at because it's so big. But if you get short-term housing, this is focusing on, it's just elaborating because you could put it in certain areas in neighborhoods, certain areas around big populated areas, so it's not taking that much money away from, or it's not taking up that much space. And in fact, you can actually take up as much space as you want because you could keep building more homes for them. Because that's one thing we're lacking is homes for the youth, homes for the homelessness. It's so many people who have tent cities around their states they live in, and in order to resolve that problem, that issue, is just give them a home for they can stay in. Give them something temporary. Find them something to get on their feet. Send them to a home. Send them to a shelter. Send them anything to get them off the streets. And my source 2 is explaining homelessness use, criminal justice interactions, childhood trauma, or surviving life on the streets. This article is going over the misfortunes the youth is going through as well, dealing with homelessness, showcasing abuse, and surviving on the streets with no food, with growing risk of facing homelessness in the criminal justice system. Youth were subjected to any childhood abuse resulting in crime. Studies show that more than half of them have been reported to have been arrested at least once throughout their childhood, or runaways at least 3 times. That shows that a lot of kids, who are homeless and anything, they have been in the criminal justice before because they have been arrested. And that's because they've been in childhood abuse. They're known for violence. They've been around that their whole life. I am one advocate for people who are basically, you are who you are. You are where you come from, and if you're a product of abuse, you're a product of no love and everything, you're going to have that same type of that animosity towards someone else outside of you. So it takes us to help them mold that out of them and actually give them conditions better than what they have in their neighborhoods or anything. So I feel like this is more focusing on the kids who come from traumatic experiences in life, and they just need a scapegoat, and they just need somewhere where they can actually grow and nurture and know that they're loved from someone, instead of just being thrown to the side and feel like no one cares for them. This next slide is developing a coordinated youth housing stability program for juvenile courts. This article explains the youth who are homeless engaged in street level survival, which leads to higher risk of criminal involvement. Due to them being in the streets, they are forced to act a certain way. They feel as if there is no help for them. The criminal justice system has allied themselves with partners to help out the youth, to give them guidance, as in giving them homes to stay in, like foster homes or anything, or emergency aid programs, like kids where they can report to people who actually care for them, who are actually looking for options. Like, for example, say you go to like the Trio building on campus looking for scholarships, like you need the scholarships to help you pay for school and anything. Boom, they gonna call people around, they gonna email people around, they gonna help you out. This is the same thing, what I'm saying? They gonna call people around, help you out, give you a home for you to stay in, and giving them positive impact on the youth so they can have a good belief that they're gonna have a home to stay in pretty soon. They're gonna have food, they're gonna have people who care for them. It's giving them counselors, it's giving them guidance in life. Source 4 is poverty, inequality, and youth violence. This article dives into social outcasts youth must feel like being in their situation on how they are living, resulting in lethal behavior from the youth. For example, you have kids all the time get bullied every single day. No matter what generation we're in, people get bullied. For example, I remember I was a victim of bullying back in middle school because I didn't have the flashiest clothes. I didn't have the newest pair of shoes, the newest T-shirts, you know what I'm saying, the newest phone. So I got picked on a lot by people who looked at me and just laughed. And it's like, haha, you don't have this and everything. I felt angry at times. I did. Of course, I wanted to fight them. So a lot of kids, they result in violence because they have so much energy. And it's just crazy because, man, like, a lot of kids just really face this problem throughout the United States. And also it's like after looking into the problem, more than viewer can see that poverty is one of the big key reasons for violence. And the United States has one highest poverty rates and the biggest gap between rich and poor in any country in the whole world, because honestly, we do not pay our people at all. And a lot of people they're making low minimum wage, or they're working like 70, 80 hours, you know what I'm saying, a check, and that check is probably only $680. That's not enough to keep you living. Or for example, how we had refund checks from COVID and everything. $1,400 is not enough for people to stay in their homes and have a stable life, because you have to pay for rent, you have to pay for your bills, you have to pay for everything, like your electricity, your car note. And when you do all that, you're not gonna have nothing after that. So it's not giving them an option. It's not giving them a fair chance to live in life. And it's just a lack of support. Like, there's no one there for the kids who are going through these problems. Yes, now we're getting more mental health advisors, more counselors, and that's one thing we need, because if we don't get it, we're going to keep repeating this problem that we can never fix, and that's been going on for generations. Going into my last source is homelessness, poverty, and social exclusion in the United States and Europe, by the way. This article shows great examples of both countries going through extreme poverty and homelessness, dealing with rates of percentages from each country, explaining their homeless rates. In the U.S., housing policies tends to argument inequality. Home ownership is encouraged by tax deductions for mortgage, income, and property. And I got that quote is strictly out the article because it drawn to me, because it showed the United States is one of those countries whose homeless rate is going up rapidly. And it's showing that people are not taking it serious, because it's like, bro, like, the wage is we're not making that much money to stay in these homes, or the places we want to go to is getting more expensive, like, dang, like, just everything is going up by the dollar. Yes, okay, minimum wage could go up, but your taxes also go up as well. It's never going to be equal. It's always going to be beneath. And to me, that's just a big thing, because nobody is talking about that. And I feel like that needs to be more elaborated on. And last but not least, the solution to this problem is improving crisis response for youth. Basically saying, we need to be on when we see someone who's not doing well in school, someone who's looking, who's depressed about how they look, depressed on like what's going on in their life. We need to give them the opportunities for them to grow. We need to give them the counselors. We need to give them just help. For example, I remember when I was in high school, we had a lady called, we had a counselor named Miss Hunter. You go in her office, you're guaranteed you're gonna get something. Because I remember one time I didn't have a tie for school and everything, and I couldn't afford to go buy a new tie because, I mean, I lost my other one. So, but we had a linen closet. Linen closet was full of hundreds of clothes donated from donors we had from our school. And she'll give me a tie or a new belt or a new pair of shoes, like dress shoes or whatnot. And they just do it out of the kindness of love, no money and needed. And I feel like most schools need to implement that type of atmosphere for them, because if you don't do that for students, man, nobody's gonna want to go. Somebody's gonna want to fight somebody. Someone's gonna want to result into this. There's gonna be a lot of violence. And I feel like if you have these solutions for kids who can go to school knowing that, hey, look, dang, if I don't got this, I know there's a counselor for me out here that's gonna help me out, or someone I can talk to. And another thing is expanding housing programs in each state. Like, we need to expand this because we barely have any. There's a reason why we have 10 cities today, because we don't have that many housing programs for the homeless. And I feel like we really need to improve on that by building these short-term housing. And prioritize family reunification by contacting the kid's family. Because no matter what, we know he has family out there. A lot of people fail to contact them. Or if he doesn't, he has relatives. He has anybody that he can live with, friends of a relative that passed away. You can find connections for them to live at, or just anything. And then connect them to help services. When you see someone going through a thing, or if you're walking past, a group of homeless kids, or some group of a family that's homeless, contact the help center that you know. Call them and say, hey, they're over here on this corner and everything, blah, blah, blah. They'll come talk to them. They'll come get them up and give them a warm place to stay and give them some food for them. And to me, that's like a big thing, because I know kids who grew up in foster homes and they were homeless themselves. So they dealt with so much. And for them, like, to get helped by someone will mean the world to them. And you never know. You could be their saving grace. You could be their guide. You could be their angel. You could be that person that just literally helps them so much. And you could be the one that just breaks them through that curve to get them to the next level, so they can actually have a home, and they can actually have food under their, in their bellies and everything, and they can feel loved. And just with all that being said, that was the last thing on my slide, and I would like to thank y'all for joining me and listening to me on this discussion. And I hope everybody has a wonderful break. Thank you so much, and that's all. Thank you.